What if I told you that Prince once stopped a charity concert because one small voice in a crowd of 5,000 people asked him a question about purple he'd never been asked before? When he learned the girl was blind and had never seen any color, his answer made the entire venue forget they were at a concert they were witnessing. Grace. The 12th of October, 1996. The Target Center in Minneapolis, a charity benefit for children's hospitals. The stage was draped in purple curtains, purple lights washing over the crowd like rain. 5,000 people packed the arena: families, kids, grandparents, strangers united by one purpose: to help. Prince walked onto the stage alone. No band yet, just him, a microphone, and a white acoustic guitar. He wore a simple black shirt and pants, his hair natural, his face calm. The crowd erupted, but he raised one hand, and the room went silent. He sat on a stool at center stage, adjusted the microphone, placed his fingers on the guitar strings. "This one's for the kids," he said quietly. Then he began to play the opening chords of Purple Rain. The crowd swayed, lighters flickered, parents held their children close. It was the kind of moment that felt bigger than music. It felt like home. But then, halfway through the second verse, something happened that no one could have predicted. Prince was singing the line about never wanting to be the reason someone cried when a small voice cut through the music. High-pitched, clear, innocent. "Prince, why purple?" The question hung in the air like a note that didn't belong. Prince stopped playing. His hands lifted off the strings. The venue went silent, 5,000 people holding their breath. He looked out into the crowd, squinting past the stage lights, trying to find the source. "Who said that?" A hand shot up in the third row. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, sitting on her mother's lap. She was wearing a purple dress and oversized sunglasses, the kind people wear indoors when light hurts their eyes. Prince smiled. "You got a question, little one?" The girl nodded. Her voice came out strong, braver than her size. "Why do you love purple so much? What does it look like?" The crowd chuckled softly, thinking it was just a curious kid asking a simple question. But Prince didn't laugh. He stared at her for a long moment, his expression shifting. Something in her tone, something in the way she asked, told him this wasn't simple at all. He set the guitar down gently and stood. "Come here," he said, gesturing toward the stage. "Come talk to me." The girl's mother hesitated. Security moved toward the row, but Prince waved them off. "Let her come. It's okay." The mother lifted her daughter and carried her toward the stage. As they got closer, Prince saw the white cane folded in the girl's hand, the way her eyes didn't track movement, the slight tilt of her head as she listened to the world instead of seeing it. She was blind, and suddenly her question made perfect sense. Security helped the mother and daughter onto the stage. The girl stood there, small and still, her hand gripping her mother's tightly. The crowd watched in complete silence, sensing something sacred was about to happen. Prince knelt down so he was eye level with her. He spoke softly, gently. "What's your name?" "Emma," she said. "Emma, that's a beautiful name." He paused. "You asked me what purple looks like. Can I ask you something first?" She nodded. "Have you ever seen any color?" Emma shook her head. "I was born this way. My mom tells me about colors, but I don't really understand them." Prince nodded slowly. He looked out at the crowd, then back at Emma. "Okay, I'm gonna try to explain purple to you, but I need you to help me, all right?" "Okay." He reached for his guitar and placed it gently in her hands. She startled slightly at the weight, but held it. "Feel that?" he asked. "Yes, that's wood. Smooth, right? Warm. It's been played so many times that it remembers the songs. Now, put your hand on the strings." Emma reached out and touched the strings. They hummed faintly under her fingertips. "Those strings are tight, but when you touch them, they give a little. They vibrate. They want to sing." He paused. "Purple is like that. It's soft, but it's strong. It holds things together, but it also lets them go." The crowd leaned forward, captivated. No one moved. No one coughed. The arena had become a church. Prince wasn't done. He placed his hand over Emma's, guiding her fingers to strum the guitar once. A single chord rang out, deep and resonant, filling the entire venue. Emma gasped. "That's pretty." "Yeah," Prince said quietly. "It is. Now, close your eyes, she smiled. They already are. He laughed softly. Right. Okay. Then just listen. Purple is the sound of something you thought you lost, and then you find it again. The crowd was silent, but something shifted in the air, a collective breath held too long, waiting to be released. Prince's voice dropped lower, softer, like he was speaking only to her now. Emma, have you ever lost something important? She nodded slowly. Her voice was quieter now. My dad. The words landed like a stone in still water. Ripples spread outward. The mother beside her closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Prince didn't flinch. He stayed right there, kneeling, present. When did he leave? 2 months ago. He got sick. Prince nodded. He didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't offer empty comfort. He just stayed there with her, in the weight of it. Then he said, purple is the feeling you get when you remember him. Not the sad part, the part where you hear his laugh in your head, or remember the way he said your name. That warm, heavy, beautiful feeling that's purple. Emma's lip trembled. She didn't cry, but her chest rose and fell a little faster. Prince continued, it's not a color you see, Emma, it's a color you feel. And every time you hear this song, every time someone plays a guitar, every time you feel something so big it doesn't fit inside you, that's purple. That's your dad, still here, just in a different way. The crowd broke. Softly at first, sniffles, quiet sobs, hands over mouths, then louder. A man in the back row wiped his eyes with his sleeve. A teenage girl buried her face in her father's shoulder. Entire families held each other, strangers clutching strangers, united in a grief they didn't know they'd been carrying. Emma stood there, silent, her small hands still on the guitar. Then she whispered, I think I understand now. Prince smiled. Yeah? She nodded. Purple is my favorite color. He laughed a real, deep, joyful laugh. Mine too, little one. Mine too. Prince stood and gently took the guitar back. He gestured to a stagehand, who brought out a chair. You want to stay up here with me while I finish the song? Emma's face lit up. Really, really. She sat down, and her mother stood beside her, tears still falling but smiling now. Prince returned to his stool, adjusted the microphone, and looked out at the crowd. Let's try this again, he said. Then he started playing Purple Rain from the beginning. But this time, it was different. Every note felt heavier. Every word carried more weight. The crowd didn't just listen, they absorbed it, let it wash over them like baptism. When Prince reached the chorus, something extraordinary happened. 5,000 people sang with him. Not loudly, not like a rock concert, quietly, reverently, like a hymn. Emma sat on stage, swaying slightly, her hands folded in her lap. She couldn't see the lights, she couldn't see the crowd, but she could feel it, the warmth, the sound, the presence of thousands of people holding space for her grief and her father's memory. When the song ended, the applause didn't come right away. There was silence first, the kind that happens when something holy has just occurred and no one wants to break the spell. Then, slowly, the clapping began, soft at first, then building, then erupting into a standing ovation that shook the rafters. Prince didn't bow. He just looked at Emma and said, "Thank you." She smiled. "Thank you." He walked her and her mother off stage, and the concert continued, but everyone knew that wasn't the moment they'd remember. The music was beautiful, yes, but what had just happened transcended music. It was grace. Have you ever felt a color instead of seeing it? Sometimes, the most powerful things in life can't be seen, only felt. After the show, Prince didn't go to his dressing room right away. He asked his tour manager to find Emma and her mother and bring them backstage. They arrived 10 minutes later, Emma still holding her mother's hand, her face glowing. Prince was sitting on a couch, a notebook open on his lap, scribbling something. "Hey, Emma," he said, looking up. "Hi," she said shyly. He stood and walked over to her. "I've been thinking. You know how you said you've never really understood colors?" She nodded. "What if I told you there's a way to feel music the same way you felt purple tonight? Not just hear it, but really feel it." Emma tilted her head. "How?" Prince pulled out a small card from his jacket pocket and handed it to her mother. "There's a program I want to start. music education for kids who are blind, braille sheet music, instruments designed for touch, teachers who understand. I don't know all the details yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. Emma's mother stared at the card, then at Prince, her eyes welling up again. All one noun. You don't have to do that. I know, Prince said, but I want to. Music saved my life. Maybe it can help other kids too. He knelt down one more time and looked at Emma. You asked me a question tonight that no one's ever asked me before, and you reminded me why I do this. So thank you. Emma smiled. Then, without warning, she hugged him. A small, fierce, unguarded hug. Prince hugged her back, his eyes closed, his face calm. When they pulled away, Emma's mother said, "We'll never forget this." "Never. Neither will I," Prince said quietly. They left. The hallway was empty again. Prince stood there for a moment, staring at the notebook in his hand. Then he sat down and started writing. The first line read, "Purple Rain Foundation Music for All." 2 weeks later, Prince held a press conference. No album announcement, no tour dates, just a simple declaration. I'm starting a foundation to bring music education to kids who are blind or visually impaired. Braille sheet music, touch-based learning, instruments they can feel. We're calling it the Purple Rain Foundation. Reporters asked why. Prince just smiled. Because a little girl asked me what purple was, and I realized not everyone gets to experience music the way I do. I want to change that. The foundation launched in 1997. By 2000, it had reached 500 kids. By 2010, over 5,000. Today, more than 15,000 children have learned to play music through the program, kids who might never have had the chance otherwise. And it all started because one 8-year-old girl asked a question in the middle of a charity concert. Because she had the courage to speak up. Because Prince had the grace to stop and listen. The night of the concert, after everyone had gone home, the Target Center staff found something left behind on the stage. A small purple ribbon, tied in a bow. No one knew where it came from, but they kept it, framed it, hung it in the venue's Hall of Memories. Underneath, a plaque reads, "Purple is the feeling you get when you find what you lost. And every time someone walks past it, they pause. They remember. They feel it." Emma was 18 now, a high school senior, an honor student, and a concert pianist. She stood backstage at the Minneapolis Convention Center, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted her dress purple. Of course, her mother stood beside her, straightening the collar, tears already forming. "You ready?" her mother asked. Emma nodded. "I think so." This was her first solo recital. The Purple Rain Foundation had sponsored it as part of their 10th anniversary celebration. Every seat in the 500-person auditorium was filled donors, students, teachers, families whose lives had been touched by the program. Prince started a decade ago, and somewhere in that crowd, she knew people were remembering the night it all began. The night a little girl asked a question about purple. A stagehand touched her shoulder gently. 2 minutes. Emma. She took a breath, rolled her shoulders, felt the weight of the moment, not heavy, but full, like a cord waiting to resolve. Her mother squeezed her hand. "He'd be so proud of you." Emma smiled. Both of them would. The lights dimmed. Emma walked onto the stage, her white cane tapping softly, confidently. She'd walked this stage in rehearsal a dozen times. She knew every step, every turn, every breath. The audience applauded as she reached the piano bench. She sat down, adjusted her position, and placed her hands on the keys. The Braille sheet music sat in front of her, tiny raised dots that told her where to go, what to play, how to feel. But she didn't need it. Not really. She'd memorized every note. She took one last breath. Then she began to play. The piece was her own composition. She'd written it over the course of a year, pulling from every lesson she'd learned, every emotion she'd carried, every memory of her father and the man who'd changed her life on a stage 10 years ago. She called it Purple. The melody started soft, gentle, searching, like a question without an answer. Then it built, layer by layer, note by note, until the entire room was wrapped in sound. People in the audience closed their eyes. Some swayed. Others sat perfectly still, letting the music move through them like a current. Emma played for 12 minutes without stopping. Her fingers moved across the keys with precision and grace, but also with something deeper soul. Every note felt like it meant something, like it was saying what words couldn't. When the final chord faded, there was silence. Not the awkward kind, the sacred kind. Then the applause came. Not polite, not measured, thunderous. A standing ovation that lasted 3 full minutes. Emma stood and bowed, her face calm but glowing. She couldn't see the crowd, but she could feel them, their warmth, their joy, their gratitude. And for a moment, she felt something else. Her father and Prince, both of them, somehow, standing beside her. Purple. After the performance, Emma sat in her dressing room, still catching her breath. Her mother brought her water. Friends and teachers stopped by to congratulate her. The foundation director hugged her and whispered, "You did it." But the moment that mattered most came 20 minutes later. There was a soft knock on the door. Her mother opened it. A woman stood there, older now, her hair graying at the temples, but her eyes still bright. She wore a purple scarf. "Hi," she said softly. "I don't know if you remember me. My name is Maite. I was married to Prince." Emma's mother gasped. Emma stood up immediately. "I remember. He talked about you. In interviews. In his music." Mate stepped inside, her hands clasped in front of her. I heard about your performance tonight. I had to come. I had to tell you something." Emma nodded, listening. Mate's voice cracked slightly. "Prince never stopped talking about you. After that night at the concert, after he started the foundation, you were part of every conversation. He'd say, 'That little girl reminded me why I make music. Not for fame, not for money.'" For moments like that, Emma's eyes filled with tears. Métis continued, "He wanted to be here tonight. He was planning to come." She trailed off. Prince had passed away just 3 months earlier, in April 2016. The world was still grieving. Emma's voice was quiet, but steady. "I know. I felt him here anyway." Métis smiled through her tears. "He would have loved your piece." Purple. "That's exactly what he was trying to tell you that night. You understood." "I felt it," Emma said simply. Mate reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. "I brought you something. He wanted you to have it, if we ever met." She handed the box to Emma. Emma opened it carefully. Inside was a guitar pick, purple, worn smooth from use. On one side, in tiny engraved letters, it read, "For Emma, keep playing, keep feeling, P." Emma held it in her hand, tracing the letters with her fingertips. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Mate hugged her. "Thank you for asking that question. Thank you for reminding him and all of us what really matters." When she left, Emma sat there for a long time, holding the pick, feeling its weight. Her mother sat beside her. "You okay?" Emma nodded. "Yeah, I'm more than okay. The Purple Rain Foundation is still running, stronger than ever. As of 2024, over 15,000 children with visual impairments have learned music through the program. Braille sheet music, touch-based instruments, teachers trained specifically to work with blind and low-vision students, concerts, recitals, scholarships, careers, all because one little girl asked a question and one man stopped to answer. Emma went on to study music therapy at Berklee College of Music. She graduated summa cum laude. Today, she works with the Purple Rain Foundation, teaching piano to children who are blind or visually impaired. She tells them the same thing Prince told her. Music isn't something you see, it's something you feel. And once you feel it, you'll never lose it. Every year, on October 12th, she returns to the Target Center. The venue holds a memorial concert for Prince, and Emma always plays. Always the same piece, always purple. And every time, people in the audience remember. The night Prince stopped a concert. The night a little girl asked about a color she'd never seen. The night 5,000 people learned that grace isn't loud, it's quiet, patient, and present. In the Target Center, in the Hall of Memories, the purple ribbon still hangs, framed, preserved. Underneath, the plaque still reads, "Purple is the feeling you get when you find what you lost." Security guards walk past it every night. Cleaning crews pause in front of it. Visiting artists stop and stare. And sometimes, late at night, when the arena is empty and the lights are off, people swear they hear it, a single piano chord, soft and distant, echoing through the halls. Maybe it's the building settling, maybe it's memory, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's Prince, still teaching, still answering questions, still reminding the world that music doesn't end when the body does. It just changes form. It becomes purple. Some questions change everything. Some answers echo forever. If this story touched you, share it, because grace like this deserves to be remembered. In 2017, 1 year after Prince's death, the foundation received a package. No return address, just a purple envelope with "For Emma" written on the front. Inside was a handwritten letter. Prince's handwriting, dated the 13th of October, 1996, the day after the charity concert. It read, "Dear Emma, tonight you asked me what purple was. I tried to explain it, but I don't think I got it quite right. So, let me try again. Purple is the color of courage. It's what you showed when you spoke up in a crowd of 5,000 people and asked a question no one else thought to ask. Purple is the color of love. It's what your dad gave you and what you'll carry forever. Purple is the color of music, not the sound, the feeling, the thing that connects us when words fail. And purple is the color of you, strong, brave, beautiful, unbreakable. Don't ever stop asking questions. Don't ever stop searching for answers. And don't ever forget that you changed my life just as much as I might have changed yours. Keep playing, keep feeling, keep being purple. With love," Prince Emma cried when she read it. Then she framed it and hung it in her studio, where every student she teaches can see it. Because some gifts aren't meant to be kept private. Some gifts are meant to be shared. And some colors like purple are meant to be felt by everyone.